Hi, everyone. Welcome to One on One on God 101 Big Brother Edition. Because look who it is, the lovely Mackenzie.
Hi, Julie.
Mackenzie, now we're going to post this Tuesday, but we're recording it just hours after the finale the next morning. And I understand you've had no sleep
None.
and you look flawless. Let's start there.
Yep. Thank you.
Um,
You as well. Always.
Thank you. Thank you. So much to talk about. Okay. When we
Yeah.
were standing there and
Mm.
saw all the keys, and you said, I didn't get a single vote. Whose vote did you think you were going to get that you didn't?
I really thought that maybe I would get Leah. And I also thought that I would get Rubina just based upon her exit speech before I evicted her. Now, maybe my eviction was what changed her. But she did state about how she thought I could win this game and that she would like to see that before. But again, I'm not unaware that Chelsea had amazing answers to her questions, and she was an amazing player. So seeing 7-0 hurt me just a little bit because I went through a lot in that house. But at the same time, a vote doesn't have to prove that to me. And I am very, very happy for Chelsea.
Well, Chelsea did tell me that she thought you would have gotten Quinn's vote because you're a comp beast, not just of the season, but in the history of this game.
Yeah.
Um, and we know he loves the game. She
Mm-hmm.
thought you were probably going to get Angela's vote and Rabina and Leah's. So,
Yes.
what I did notice in your speech to the jury, your final speech, you did say, I chose Chelsea even if it costs me the game. What made you say that? Did you think this is not in the bag?
I did. I had a feeling, a gut sense that the way I depicted my game versus her was just not well said. And under the pressure, that's very nerve wracking to answer those questions. And they were very targeted at how it seemed that I did not make moves for myself in this game and that I just was a manipulated player. And people can think whatever they want. And I did not speak to my own volume about that and answer those questions in the way that I wish I would have now looking back. However, if that's how people want to see my game, which is what they saw me for in the beginning as well, easily manipulated, easy to toss aside, then so be it. Because the thing is that to myself, I proved a lot, and taking Chelsea to the end was a win for me as well. And I don't care what the votes have to say, what America has to say. All I care about is leaving that house with a head and a heart full of pride, respect, and happiness. And I know that I'll look back on this decision and never regret it.
Okay, here is your chance because hindsight's 2020. What do you, and you've had some time to process it. What do you wish you had said? Because it sounds like you do not agree with the targeted questions of what did you do for yourself. So you don't feel like you were manipulated. Is that accurate?
I do think that I was influenced, but I do not believe that I was manipulated. I believe that nobody can truly make me make moves. And I made moves not only for myself in this house, but for the people I was working with. And whether me choosing loyalty and allowing a decision to not benefit only myself, but others, being seen as a manipulated move and as somebody else's move and that it only benefited them is just not true, because all in all, getting Leah out was a move that also benefited me because I was sitting in those two chairs myself and I was the one that chose who got to sit next to me. And my game, like I said, speaks for itself. And I also had many other moves that I did for myself. Beating Tucker and voting Tucker out was a choice of my own. I had nobody that had to go into that diary room but myself. Nobody could beat him but me. And I made that move on my own. He at the time he was the player that I thought was rocking with me the most. Hindsight 2020, don't think he was. But when I realized that he was not benefiting my game, I voted him out. When I realized that Leah was not benefiting my game, I put her on the block. When I realized that T-Core was close to Chelsea and that they probably would take each other to the end, I switched the votes on how T-Core would have stayed and Rubina would have gone. I was the one that influenced that, and I allowed T-Core to get out of this house. Maybe I should have said that. Being up there, you don't think about everything in that moment. You're just thinking about, oh, shoot, you know?
It's a
But
lot. It's
it's a
pressure.
lot.
Oh, I feel for you. I'm like, I feel every year for everyone in those final two seats. And,
Yeah.
it's after on the heels of some targeted questions and
Mhm.
expressions on people's faces where you suddenly are feeling like maybe terrible, like guilt, and you're not sure what you feel guilty about.
Yeah, I felt very, very guilty. And, Chelsea did throw me under the bus a few times. But I mean, hey, that's what you're supposed to do. You're supposed to make your game look better in the end. And I'm glad she did because hey, that's a very good big brother move. And I'm proud of her because I didn't do that. Maybe I should have. But like I said, I'm very proud of her. What I wish I did do again was state those things, as well as state that she got to choose the game she played and that I did not. And maybe I wasn't a Big Brother super fan and I didn't have all aspects of the game, aka my social game, and nobody would have carried me like they did her, aka me carrying her. Um, but what I did do was carry myself as well as choose who I carried and play the game that I had to play. And I played a dang good one.
Tell me about the conversations you and Chelsea have had since the finale.
Funny enough, right before hopping on this interview, I was just in her room talking about everything and debriefing all of this. I told her for one, if I go back and watch the show and she is talking mean about me, that I will have words for her because that's not cool. And two, she has to take me on a trip to Italy because she was sitting there because of me. And three, just how appreciative I am for her being at least a person as well in this house, not just a player, being a woman who I believe that I was able to confide in during those stressful times, and just being a player who I respected as well. And I'm sure that I'll look back and be like, she played a dang good game. And the thing is, too, is being on the inside of the house, not everybody gets to see that on the outside world. I knew a lot more conversations than a lot of other people. I do believe that she would have taken me to the final two no matter what as well. And honestly, right before here, like I said, we were just laughing about everything we've been through, so proud of each other. And I told her, first is the worst, second is the best.
All right, I heard both of you ladies talk about God. You
Yes.
both gave the glory to him. Talk to me about your faith.
Yes, my faith. My faith, I believe, is a new journey. I have been probably really finding my faith for about 2.5 years now, which I think is very fresh. I have a long, long way to go. But what I can say is that a few months before this experience, I really started diving even more into it and wanting to become a woman that God would be proud of and that I would be proud of. And that really, when people saw me, that they would see the love of God. And that's exactly why I came into the house how I did, because I am on a journey that one, I don't want to stop. And I didn't want to stop that by going into a house that, yes, is full of deceit and lies and playing and all that. But I proved to some people, I hope, that you don't have to be that way and that you can play a respectable game and one that glorifies God as well. And that's what I did. That's what I'm so proud of. I know by the encounters that I've had and just the feelings and experiences, and by talking to him, that I was put in this house for that reason, and that my relationship with God actually grew in this house, and I heard from him more than ever.
I love that.
Mm-hmm.
You're 23 years old,
Me
yes?
too.
22.
Yes.
Are you comfortable telling me why at age, what, 19 or 20, you started your walk with the Lord?
Yes, absolutely. So I grew up my youth in Georgia, and I actually did go to church there. I went to a Methodist church for quite a bit. When we moved to Texas, my parents really focused on their company, and we just kind of stopped going to church. So I really lost that focus on that, as well as I started going heavy into sports. So I was playing tournaments on Sundays and practices on Wednesdays. So I wasn't very focused on that until my freshman year of college. I actually went to Houston Baptist University, a small D1 private Christian university. And I actually went through quite a few struggles in that year that caused a lot of self doubt, self worth issues, and just wondering what my life had in store. And I felt that I didn't know where my path was headed, and I didn't know what to fall into. But what I remembered was that I had faith as a little girl, and my dad's mom was actually a nun before she left the convent. Yes. And I just felt a calling to find that in me again, that something bigger, and there was a bigger purpose to me than everything I was going through. And it was a small step, but after that step, I went to Texas A&M University, and there is a very large Christian base there. And I had a friend, a dear friend, that is very strong in her faith. And she took me to a group Bible study that is hosted by the campus called Breakaway. And it allowed me to just see an incredible group of people coming together and worship God and talk about God, and made me just feel so at peace and happy. I was like, this is crazy. And I love it. I love the feelings that I felt and how safe I felt. And it just kept driving me and driving me to get closer to him, as well as other personal things that I went through in relationships where, I had trials and tribulations that caused me to, look for something that gave me peace, that wasn't able to be found in an earthly place. And that all to be said, it's been a whirlwind of the past 2-3 years for me. There's been ups and downs, tons of different stories I could share, but all to be said has allowed me to grow closer to God and want to know him more and more each and every day. And I will say the experience inside the Big Brother house was crazy for me and my faith, and is exactly why I did what I did, stuck to my gut, and went with Chelsea, because it wasn't her that led me to do that. And it wasn't her that led me to do anything in the game. It was God. And I might have said a lot through the season that I was a lone wolf, but I had an alliance. It was me and God, two people. So
Good.
he was on my side the whole time. So that's all I know. And it's been just an incredible journey for me. And I can't wait to see how much more I grow and all the opportunities I get to give glory to him every single day. And I can't wait.
I love it. And like the first 10 days in the house meeting Matt, a fellow Christian who
Yes,
worked with, I mean, he, I believe, either was or is in like youth ministry. Like he
he
helps.
was. Yes, he was a pastor.
So, all joking aside, we talk about flirt man, show man. I mean, did you talk to him after the finale? Is there potential, or is this just us, you know,
Hoping,
hoping?
praying.
Yeah,
Um,
we just mind
I,
our own business.
um, I have talked to him briefly. Like I said, it's been a very, very busy night. We did catch up a little bit, but we didn't want it to be a very serious moment. We just chatted about all the jokes inside the house, talked about what I had been through, my game that he had watched, and everything that he had kind of endured on the outside. And we didn't even cover probably an eighth of it. Who knows? It's been 80 days since I saw him. So we have a lot more to cover, a lot more to talk about. But what I can say is that Matt is an incredible man, with an incredible heart and incredible faith. And